Hello, greetings and welcome back to another session of the course titled Academic Speaking and Presentation Skills. In today's session, we are going to learn about different tips for building good vocabulary. What we are going to cover in today's session is having first the knowledge of receptive modes of language. Then we are going to jump learning different words with contemporary trends. Understanding those contemporary trends, we are also going to go through the tips for improvising the word bank that already exists. And with the newly acquired words, we are going to learn to transform the existing language or the way of the speaking. First, it is important for us to know that why building vocabulary is really important. I would completely agree to what Ludwig Wittgenstein said, right? The limit of my language means the limit of my world. You will not only, shorten the means of knowing and learning the language, but also it will be very difficult to express, to state, to enunciate, to articulate your thoughts, your ideas, your opinion, your suggestion, and completely transforming your data towards the other means. So therefore, it is important for us, if we want to reach to a new height, if we want to, go through the ladder and reach globally in today's time, it is important for us to have a newly updated word bank, which will help us establish good reputation. Now, we are going to learn about how do we build this vocabulary. First one is mode of language. First, when we say mode of language, a language can be learned in two different ways, right? A language can be represented in two different ways. First is receptive and then it's productive. When we say receptive, what does it mean? We are into the receiving end of this particular new language, the second language, or maybe the formal language. Right now, what we are talking about is English, right? Now, how do we receive this language? Just like how an infant would, right? Initially, have you ever observed an infant, how they start speaking? Initial months, they would simply listen. They would try mimic, right? They would try to copy whatever they have heard. Similarly, receptive mode is basically giving importance to two major skills of language, that is listening and reading. First, when we are talking about listening, we are to understand that we will not be able to build good vocabulary if we are not listening to good means of the second language. And then, of course, definitely, it is the part of the reading that plays important role, identifying those words with written symbols. Together, having complete command on receptive mode, we will be able to produce, and that is basically going towards the productive means. First, the person will be able to speak and then the person will be able to write. So therefore, if an individual wants to make a command of a language, the person will have to first go towards understanding the receptive modes and then the productive modes. Listening and reading both are the receptive modes. So we are going to learn how do we grow ourselves, right? What is the proof that this listening and reading will help us grow our vocabulary? So what happens basically is this, right? Developing different lexical range, if we want to talk about, we need to understand how things function inside our brain, right? This is a clear picture of an brain, human mind, right? Divided into two parts, the front of the brain and the back of the brain. Now what happens is that this is the front part, this is the back part. These different parts that you see play vital role. See over here it is word analysis, right? Then over here it is letter recognition, right? With that it will come language comprehension and associating all it with speech sounds. So therefore, we need to understand over here that the back of the brain plays crucial role with the parietal temporal region that we have, it is going to analyze not just sounds but also symbols. So whatever you say, whatever you see would be identified, recognized and analyzed over here at parietal temporal region. And then at the lower part over here, that would make sense, right? Over here it would analyze, and over here it would rise with the meaning. So therefore it helps break the word into sound for word analysis, and then it will identify. So this complete parietal temporal region would identify words. Then we have occipital lobe at the lower end, right? So when we talk about occipital temporal region, right, it will quickly aid to recognize if you have earlier analyze certain words. So it will work in combination with this parietal temporal region. It will start recognizing, and the moment it will start recognizing it, you will start fluent reading, right? Fluent recognition of the sounds. And last we have frontal region. So when we talk about the frontal lobe, right, it will help us process anything that you listen to, right? Any inputs that you want, it will be stored over here. So the moment, even if it is not the symbols, even if it is not the written script that you see, your brain will identify. So that's how we store different words into our brain, and that's how we will be able to use the stored words. So what are the key important things that we need to understand through this particular small thing is that we need to first pay attention to reading and listening activities, both of them working as a receptive means of any language. Any language that we want to have command over, we will have to start reading, visualizing the symbols that are there, right? Then after that we will start listening, right? And
a slide shows the lyrics of the song called Believer. Now, the reason why we are reading the lyrics of a particular song is that we all of us have in this particular time kind of a passion to listen to music, and it's not a passion, but at least we are, listening music while we are tensed up, this or that. Even during that time, learning can happen, and that is why not all of us are a good or an avid reader, and we cannot spend time for reading, but at least a song or so. Can help you, listening the song once a day, twice, or maybe following different singers who are speaking English, maybe composing English songs. So there are Swifties around. So that for those who are fans of Taylor Swift, she also uses very good English phrases. So similarly over here, this is a very basic song, right? And we are listening to this song. Instead of listening to the song, we are reading the lyrics of this particular song rather, and therefore trying to learn different phrases of a particular language, and knowing how we can acquire uh, the second language while listening as well as reading. So instead of listening to the song, let's just read out the lyrics and identify different phrases and meanings of it. See that the lyrics are: first things first, I will say all the words inside my head. The hammer is a kind of a contraction. First thing first is a kind of a phrase. I am, fried up and tired of the way the things have been. Oh, the way the things have been is kind of a repetition again. The second thing, second, don't you tell me what you think. I could be the one on this video.
okay, enough with the song. Almost we have listened to the whole song, right? What are the things that we have learned over here are different phrases. This is just seeking out the words and phrases from the first portion of the song, right? There is the second, there's the third, and there's the last portion of the song that the person is singing. Now, while this particular lyrics we analyze, the phrases that we see over here is the first thing first. Again, it is a very common phrase, right? That is used in daily conversation. So why do we use this particular phrase? Where do we use this particular phrase? First thing first, it is giving out priority to something. So therefore, first thing first is for putting up priority. Then second phrase that we see is being the master of my sea, or master of my sea is again a phrase that is putting oneself at the position of authority, or you are trying to take control over something. So I am going to be the master of my sea. It is I will sail my particular boat, or I'll row it the way I want. I'm going to take a complete control over it. Again, then it is fired up. Fired up is not basically, firing somebody from a job. Over here it is used as being excited. What fires up my soul is basically being a believer, having faith into something, right? Again, it would bring us to two different words. Sulking, right? Sulking in front of the masses is the, particular lyric of the song. So what is sulking? Sulking is angry about something that someone has done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sulk about whatever I am angry or ferocious or raged about. I'm going to state it in front of different people, and that's how I'll vent my pain. So it's sulking in front of the masses. Again, believer, the name of the song itself, to have faith into something. So these is how we learn different vocabularies. There are various other, fire and flame, ebbing, in face of, again various phrases, words that we will find throughout the song like this. This was a song by Imagine Dragons, right? There are, various songs famous of Poets of the Fall, right? You can listen to the songs of the Coldplay. You can listen to any song that you like in the language you are targeting. Now this is important, it's not just song, it's watching movies, series, everything, but all of these things that we do, right, we fulfill our hobbies in the target language that we want to acquire. So therefore, whatever the second language that you are trying to acquire, you need to pay efforts as much as possible in listening as well as reading this particular language. That's how we'll be able to build our vocabulary. What else we need to stop doing? As we have spoken that we are going to see the tips of how can we increase our vocabulary. The very important thing that we need to do is, the crucial thing rather I would say to do over here, is stop using very. Now very can be, placed by another word altogether. So if we are saying that I'm very angry, it can be written as I am enraged. If you say that, I'm into a very bad mood, it can be translated into I am into terrible mood, right? So when we say that's a big news, instead of saying very big news, you can say that's an enormous news, right? If you are trying to say that the day is boring or very boring, you can rather say it's mind-numbing. It's not enthralling, right? If you want to say that it is bright day, you can say that it is very, instead of saying very bright day, you can say that it is a dazzling day, right? Again, we would jump to, if you want to say that, you have to be very careful, what you can use is you have to be cautious, right? Instead of saying that the room is very clean, we can say that it is immaculate. If you want to say that, the test is very easy, you can say the test is or went actually effortless. If you want to say that this particular news is exciting, you can say that it is exhilarating. If you want to say the person is very energetic, you can also state that the person is enthusiastic, right? So instead of using very angry, very bad, very big, very boring, we can use the substitutes of it. Improvise, taking new words each day, right? Therefore, if we want to say now very fast, could be translate it to expeditiously, right? If you want to say it's very good, you can say that it's very excellent, right? Instead of saying very happy, you can say thrilled. Instead of saying very hot, you can say it's sweltering. Instead of saying much, you can say it's abundant, right? Instead of saying quiet, you can be saying using the word silent or hushed, right? If you want to say same, you can say exact. If you want to say very short, you can say flitting. If you want to say very small, minuscule, very strong, powerful, and very ugly, hideous. So these are the words that can be used as substitute to instead of using very. Like this, it's important for us to keep updating ourselves with new words and with new vocabulary. Reading over here would help. So reading good works will build our good vocabulary. This is a very small, right? Any trend, contemporary trend that you want to look for will some way or the other help you to strengthen your communication skills, be it in advanced communication or be it in academic language. So no communication can get stronger without having command over a language. If you want to have a command over language, these are the basic skills that we require to update. You want to go for productive. Many people complain that they are not very efficient with speaking. They are fumbling while they are speaking. They have lack of confidence to communicate their ideas and thoughts. This is where you need to build your confidence, right? Work on the receptive skills, work on listening and reading skills, and that will automatically help you to produce the language. So receive first and then give. Right? So reading good work. Over here we need to pay importance to the word good, because reading anything may not help you to build your good language. Reading self-help book, many self-help books are using wrong grammar, right? So you need to take care about what are your receptive mode, how do you collect the data, right? Plan to collect the data first and then prepare, right? Second is listening to music, conversation, watching movies, series, as we have discussed, will help us to build good vocabulary. Again, rule of prepare and practice. So prepare on receiving skills and simultaneously you will be able to practice upon your speech and the writing skills. Only by practicing, right, you will be able to have complete command over the language that you want to have. So a different language is basically having a different soul, and what Federico Fellini says is that a different language is a different vision for life. It is not only going to help you to elaborate your ideas, but it will eventually help you to build a different vision for yourself. So therefore, all the very best in having complete command over academic language and your communication skills. Hoping that this building blocks of vocabulary and the tips that we have shared in this session would help you to gain command over not just having good rich vocabulary but also over your communication and language. Thank you. Hoping to see you all in the next session.